turn this thing off?
Really
Yeah,
cold.
how do I turn it off?
Let's see.
Remote? Or just turn it off on the floor?
Yeah, I see it over there.
Ah, see. Yeah.
That just stick to the direction. Ah,
Should be off. Maybe it takes a minute to turn off. Looks like it's off. If you give it a minute.
doesn't show the temperature, it should be off.
Temperature's gone off.
It takes a while.
Could be it takes a minute to turn off. Yeah. No, I've got one like that at home.
It's like
Mine takes like a minute
it's like
to
learning
do.
mission.
Sorry?
Takes a while to.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Fine, we're up to. Oh, there you go, it's gone. Rubbish. Okay, after a short break, we're up to Siman Yud Dalet, at page 50. Okay.
It's rolling.
Dinei tzitzis shason ein Yehudi v'noshim v'tal shula. Okay, so the first two sifim are going to be about who can make the tzitzis, who can tie the tzitzis on the beged, and then Sif Gimel is going to be about a borrowed garment, right? And which is very interesting. A talis that belongs to the shul. If you can make a brach on it, that will see in Sif Gimel. So let's start with Sif Aleph. Tzitzis shason ein Yehudi posel. If a goy made the tzitzis, it's possible to Sif Daber b'nei Yisrael la'afuke ein Yehudi. It says in the parish of tzitzis every day, Daber el b'nei Yisrael, speak to b'nei Yisrael and they should make tzitzis. So b'nei Yisrael have to be the ones making the tzitzis. It can't be a goy. A woman is allowed to make tzitzis. So a goy can't, and a woman can. Hagov yesh machmirim lahatzrich anoshim she'asu oison. Some are machmir hold that men have to do it and women can't tie the tzitzis. V'toiv la'asos ken lechatchila. This is preferable. Lechatchila, a man should be the one tying the tzitzis. Okay, but the eved, if a woman ties it, it'd be kosher. But lechatchila, a man should be the one tying the tzitzis on the beged. Okay, and what's the reason for this? If we look at the shemoneh-esrei cotton base, shemoneh-esrei cotton base, there's va'afilu oimed al gabon lo imhanim mishum da'aksiv b'nei Yisrael also mashma gam l'ma'it b'nois Yisrael. This opinion that holds that women shouldn't do it is also learning from the same words b'nei Yisrael. B'nei Yisrael, which we said excludes the goyim. B'nei Yisrael, here, according to this opinion, also excludes women. B'nei Yisrael are not b'nei Yisrael. The men are not the women. Okay, so goyim is definitely no good. Women is a machlokes, and lechatchila we should be machmir that men should do it. Says shemoneh-esrei cotton gibel, the next one, the next line. She asks, so dafka hatlio b'habeged. We're only talking here about the hanging it, the tying it onto the garment. But the spinning and the twisting of the strings, making the strings, that can be done by women. Only the tying on the garment, that should be done by men. Says the Mishnah, the next one, let's read the next two lines of the next Mishnah, verse Cotton Dalet. V'toiv la'asos v'chula. V'chein ro'oi v'nochin shaloi la'asos l'chatchila hatolas hatzitzis b'beged shel godol al yedei cotton pachot mi'udgim ushonim. So too, it's correct to make sure that the tzitzis are put on by an adult and not by a minor, meaning that it should be done by someone above 13, not a boy beneath 13 who's got the din of a cotton. Okay. If we just have a look now at the Bir Halacha, it's the first Bir Halacha on the page. So we're moving to the right column, which is the Bir Halacha. On mine, it's the 8th line. It's the middle of a Biur Halacha. On the 8th line, I have a full stop, and then it says uposhet. Yeah, you got it. Uposhet hakoton la'atzmoi mutar lahatzil tzitzis l'kol ha'alma. Even though we said that a cotton shouldn't put tzitzis on a beged for an adult, however, he says it's simple. It's definitely the case that the cotton can make tzitzis for himself. According to everyone, he's allowed to make his own tzitzis. If he's reached the age of chinuch, which is around the age of 6 or 7, he reached the age of chinuch, he can make himself tzitzis. He has a chiv d'rabbanon to put on tzitzis, seeing as he's reached the age of chinuch, of education. So if he makes his own tzitzis, he'll be used to this mitzvah d'rabbanon of wearing tzitzis, seeing as he's reached the age of chinuch. The Mishabur in the Biur Halacha has an extra chiddush. He made it tzitzis when he was 11 or 12, when he was a cotton. And now he has his bar mitzvah. Now he's a godel. Is he allowed to carry on wearing the same pair of tzitzis or not? Because now he's a godel and the tzitzis were made by a cotton. So says the Mishabur, he doesn't need to take off his tzitzis. When he turns into a godol, he can still carry on wearing the same pair of tzitzis. Why? Because that's b'di eved. Right? This halacha that a cotton shouldn't make the tzitzis is only lechatchila. B'di eved, if a cotton made the tzitzis, would be kosher. So this is like b'di eved, because he's already been wearing it for a certain amount of time when it was kosher. Now he's turned bar mitzvah. He's already got a pair of tzitzis that was made a long time ago by a cotton himself. And therefore he's allowed to continue wearing it even after he is a godel. Okay. Let's move on to Sif base.
If they lasted 2 years, it means he took really good care of them.
I said 2 years, but it could be even a day or two.
Right.
He made it a few days before his bar mitzvah. Right. Let's see now Mishabur Sif.
Rabbi Frank speaks on that when he's talked about renewing our excitement about doing the talking about a guy who comes to a doctor, the true story, he came to a doctor, and faked the short examination. He's wearing a tiny tzit, a little picture of it. When he was 3 years old, he's about to get this tzit and he's still wearing it. He's got a sentimental value.
Sif days, Shulchan Sif days. Hittilis or tzitzis ba beged, beloy kavona. If he put the tzitzis on the beged without kavona for the mitzvah, without intention for the mitzvah, if he hasn't got any other tzitzis, then he can rely on the Rambam holds it's kosher, but you shouldn't make a broch on the tzitzis. Right? So one should put tzitzis on the beged with kavana, like we said, the shem mitzvah tzitzis. It has to be done with kavana. If it was done without kavana, then he can wear the beged if there aren't any other tzitzis. Then he can rely on the Rambam that holds it's okay, but he can't make a broch on the beged on the tzitzis.
Why?
Because most Rishonim hold it's possible.
What?
Most Rishonim hold it has to be done.
Rambam's the exception.
That's right. Okay. Says the Mishabur Tzit Kotten Dvov. Bli kavana. Rotza loima. Also kasher ha'elyon shehu mid'oraisa bli kavana. We're talking about the first knot. We already discussed this. The mid'oraisa, one needs the first knot, then a few krichos, and then another knot. Then mid'oraisa, he's definitely yotze mitzvah. We mentioned all the other windings and knots after Zadrabana. So if he did the first knot, which is d'oraisa without kavana, without intention. If he did the first knot and then the first set of windings with the kavana, even if he did the rest, even if he has alternative tzitzis, he can wear this pair. Mishabur Kotten sein, ala Rambam shemachshe. Afilim also had tzliya v'gam kol hakshon v'achodesh shaloi b'kavon. If he did the hang, he put the tzitzis through the beged. Right, the tzliya is putting the tzitzis through the hole, and he did all the knots and all the windings shaloi b'kavon, without intention. He can rely on the Rambam who holds that it's kosher. He can't make a bracha. The tzvile afagav the boy taviyah lishma. The Rambam holds that even though the spinning of the threads has to be done lishma for the purpose of the mitzvah. However, hanging on the garment does not have to be done lishma. The Yalif Lo Medechsev Bnei Yisrael Afuke Ovid Gulun Shema Minot the Yisrael B'li Kavanah Kosher. The Rambam learns it from the fact that the posuk comes to exclude a goy. It has to be done by Yisrael and not by a goy. See, I understand from that Yisrael is kosher however the Yisrael does it, even if he doesn't have kavanah. We're only excluding a goy. Now the Mishnah asks an excellent question, right? Pretty obvious question maybe that we should have thought about. He says that it's only kosher according to Rambam if there's no other pair of tzitzis available. Right? But even if there's no other pair of tzitzis available, why can't he untie it and retie it lishma? The whole problem is that he put it on the beged without the correct intentions. He didn't think the shem mitzvah tzitzis, didn't say the shem mitzvah tzitzis. Now, if he has another pair, he has to wear the other pair. He can't wear this one. If this is the only pair he has, he can wear it. But why? He can untie them and retie it, put it back in the beged, the shem mitzvah tzitzis. Right, that's the question.
Could he untie just the last knot and retie it?
No, the first knot is the first.
I know he has to do the first knot. But what I'm saying is, if he didn't do the first knot, but did have the kavanah before he finished, that would that suffice?
Okay, so the Bir Halacha discusses this.
It's kind of two separate questions.
Bir Halacha discusses this concept of chiach soifei al tchilosa. If the end of the tying, if he has kavanah, if that proves that the beginning was also the kavanah, if the end of an action is done,
right.
End of a process is done lishma, does that prove that the beginning was also done lishma?
That's what
he is masupuk about it. He starts off by saying it does, and then at the end he's unclear. So it's a suffix. It's better than no kavanah. Right. Okay. So the Mishnah Berurah went 3 lines from the bottom. Don't ask this question of why doesn't he have to untie it from the beged and retie it. The same mitzvah. We're talking about where it's close to Shabbos. There's no time to untie or and retie. Or we're talking where one of the strings has snapped. And we mentioned if one of the strings is snapped, then even though b'di'evad one can continue wearing the tzitzis, but one cannot retie these tzitzis onto a new beged, or even on the same beged, because it's now less than the shemoneh-esrei, it's only enough b'di'evad.
Yeah, it seems that one of the concerns is not just tying, but actually inserting it into the garment.
Yeah, sorry. When I say tying, I mentioned, I mentioned this once or twice, but every time I say tying, I'm referring to the same thing. Putting it in the garment is crucial. We're talking about putting it in the garment, and then the first knots and the first windings. That's crucial.
So that actually explains why undoing and redoing the last knot, because you're not inserting it in the garment.
Correct. Yeah. Now the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkot Neches is going to talk about what happens if you only put it inserted through the garment lishma, and the time wasn't done lishma. Sivkot Neches lo yavor afilim lo ozer rak hatchiva beknaf shelo lishma. Right? This is what you mentioned. Even if only the putting it through the knaf was done shelo lishma, you put it through, insert it through the knaf, through the beged shelo lishma. V'kol shkenim osa kesher elyon shelo lishma. And even more so if you did the top knot shelo lishma. To Rashi v'Rosh v'Toysa sheli dobeinu midiraisa kam ken tzliya lishma. V'kol demid evigilun tzorch afilu yisol omed agabim lamdehu lishma. They explain that the Rai of the Rambam, Rashi, Tosfos, and the Rosh are the ones who are cholik on the Rambam. They hold that it has to be done lishma. So they explain. We said the Rambam learns it from the fact the posuk excludes a goy. The posuk excludes the goy doesn't do it with kavanah, so it implies that a yisrael who does it without intention, that kavanah, it is kosher. They say no. The posuk excluding as a goy is excluding even if a goy does it with kavanah. A yisrael is standing next to the goy and making sure the goy puts it in the shem mitzvah tzitzis, even then it's possible. So it has to be done lishma. Has to be done lishma. The posuk is coming to exclude even if a goy was to do lishma, you're still standing there and making sure the goy does it lishma, then it's no good. Right? The Yisrael has to do it lishma.
Doesn't the pasuk say that it's Yisrael who will make these tzitzit?
It says in the pasuk, "Daber b'nei Yisrael Vasu lahem tzitzis. You have to speak to Bnei Yisrael and tell them to make tzitzis. Now we learn that only Yisrael is kosher to make tzitzis, and a goy can't.
Right. So, in fact, again, this is two separate questions, right? Because even if the goy could have kavana in this specific case, he can't be Israel.
Correct.
And
that's
Israel
correct.
are the ones who have to make it.
Correct.
So that's not an issue. That's an issue of
saying.
manufacture rather than kavana.
That's how the Rishonim learn it. That's how the Rashi, Tosfos, and the Rosh learn. The Rambam says that no, a goy doesn't do it b'kavana. It's time if you excuse the goy, we're talking about where he's not doing it b'kavana. So we see from there that if the posuk has to do the goy because of the fact that he's not Jewish, that implies that the fact he's not doing it b'kavana is not a problem.
Right.
The sole problem is that he's not Jewish.
Right.
The fact that he's doing it b'kavana is not a problem. So if he saw was to do it without kavana, it'd be kosher.
Correct. Right.
That's how the Rambam learns it.
Right.
Okay. Al kein toch lizol lechatchila. This is what we did, right, when we made our tzitzis. Therefore, one has to be careful before he puts the tzitzis through the hole in the garment. That he should verbalize, should say clearly, that he's making the tzitzis l'shem mitzvah tzitzis. He said, therefore, one should verbally say before he puts the tzitzis through the garment that he's doing it l'shem mitzvah tzitzis. Okay. Now let's.
Sorry, just to try to remember. Does that doesn't require him to say it 4 times on one bottom, does it?
Again?
He says it the first time.
Yeah.
On one set, as opposed to 4 times.
Does he have to do it for each corner of
Yeah.
the garment? Excellent question. Let's have a look at the Mishnah, at the Bialach. The Bialach de Vamaschel Bili Kavona. This is about 10 lines from the bottom of the previous page. We've already gone to the next one. Going back, looking back at the previous page, 10 lines from the bottom. Bli kavana, that's right. So first he discussed a different point, which is if he didn't verbalize it, but he thought that he's doing l'shem mitzvah tzitzis, which would probably be the usual mistake, right? If someone didn't say l'shem mitzvah tzitzis, and he still knows that he's doing it, he's making tzitzis, that's his intention. Right? Right. This would be the general case. If someone didn't say l'shem mitzvah tzitzis and he comes to ask, what should I do? Generally the case is that he had it in mind.
Right.
He thought, and he's making l'shem mitzvah tzitzis, but he didn't say it. Nearly the halacha says he can. I feel that he can. That the Mishnah says that he can make a bracha on the tzitzis. After Tzvir Nish'anu, the B'Tzvir Nish'anu Le'evutim N'yalef Zachir, when it comes with regards to spinning the threads, the Bialacha there says it was left it as an unresolved problem. It says
because that thread could be used for virtually anything.
Sorry?
That thread could be used for virtually anything. When you're tying tzitzit on
Excellent. That's one reason.
You're not making a sweater out of it.
Excellent. He's going to give 2 reasons to differentiate between the spinning and the putting on the garment. That's the second reason. I'm going to see another reason as well. Why? 2 reasons. Number 1, the svek. First of all, the shema halacha the saigub machshov. First of all, we have this suffix. It could be that not verbalizing is good enough. That's number 1. Ayin b'rosh, b'lachas k'sanas. B'shem halacha Rambam, we can add to that the opinion of the Rambam. The Rambam holds that one doesn't need to do it lishma. With spinning the thread, even the Rambam holds it has to be lishma. Everyone holds it has to be lishma. We only have one suffix. If thinking is good enough, or do we need to verbalize? Here, when it comes to putting onto the beged, we have also that we have the shit of the Rambam. The opinion of the Rambam holds that one doesn't need lishma at all. So we have. It's called the svek. Maybe the halachas like the Rambam we don't need kavanah at all, and even if the halachas like the other Rishonim we do need kavanah lishma, but it could be the machshava is good enough. That's the first reason to allow one to make a bracha on such tzitzis. The second reason to tfias chut and stam alav l'shem tzitzis, the reason you gave. If someone spins thread. The main reason why people spin threads is not for the mitzvah tzitzis. People spin thread to make garments. It's not for tzitzis. If one's hanging tzitzis on a garment, tying tzitzis onto the corner of the garment, the main reason why one do such a thing is for the mitzvah tzitzis. And therefore, says the Mishnah, one can make a bracha on such tzitzis. However, definitely in the first instance, one should preferably say l'shem mitzvah tzitzis before he ties the tzitzis. However, if he didn't, b'di'evad is good enough that he had the intention in his mind.
And you would say a bracha on the garment, on the tzitzit.
And you would say a bracha
on putting on the tzitzit.
On putting on the...
Yeah.
You make a bracha on the tzitzit, correct. That's what you said. You make a bracha on the tzitzit. Yes. Okay. Should we stop now with 22? Yeah, right. Okay, we just want to finish the halacha next time with your question about the different corners.
There is a little difficulty.
Yeah.
And that is, there's no simon on the tzitzis that they were done by the shema. Because when you pick up a pair of tzitzis or you buy tzitzis.
Well, they're sending to you with a hechsher. The hechsher is telling you they were done with shema. That's what they give you a hechsher for. You don't need the hechsher to tell you that it's right yours. You can like yourself. Right. The hechsher is to tell you that it was done with shema. And we even mentioned that they'll even write if the shazira was done with shema. The nipples, the kulmi, if that the carding, if that was done with shema, which is an extra chumrah, then they'll write that if it was or wasn't. And that's what that hechsher is about. If something was done with shema. Hope you have a good day.
You too. Put you to work. Thank you. And now I'll go to work.